Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to In Rhythm Podcast, episode 14. Graham and I, we had to finish up our studies because we are students before podcasters. So, we're back in action today. We're going to talk about the NBA playoffs and how it's kicked off. Most teams have gone through 2 games in the series. We're going to talk about Trae Young and Russell Westbrook getting attacked physically by popcorn and spit. And we're going to talk about Julio Jones coming to the Patriots. Graham, we'll see. I don't know. Let's go into it.
He ain't lose a touch.
Okay, Graham. Tonight we got 2 games, and these 2 games, the 4 teams have only played twice each. We got the Suns-Lakers at 10. First, let's talk about your overall impressions about the 2 games so far, and then let's talk about what you think for the rest of the series.
All right, so obviously it's not a normal matchup, you know what I'm saying? Like the Lakers, they ain't a 7 seed.
No.
But they did what they had to do. They stole home court. They split the first 2 games with the Suns, and I don't know if they're going to drop another game because Chris Paul is hurt and he doesn't know how to dribble on his right side anymore. I don't know what he did to his shoulder. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, you really just got to shut down Booker at that point. I think the first 2 games, I think the Lakers are probably satisfied. They're still getting the 2 stars back into rhythm, and I mean, in game 2, AD looked back. He looked aggressive again. And LeBron, you know, he's gonna get there. He's always gonna be an efficient player. So I think they're happy with where they're at. And the Suns, they're probably nervous. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I think I've been drinking some haterade lately about LeBron because typically I appreciate greatness. But for some reason, I really want the Suns to win this series. I don't know if I'm just cheering for the underdog, even though they're the 2 seed. But, yeah, once the Lakers stole that game 2 in Phoenix, I'm like, okay, it's a tough one. Because even though the Lakers looked bad in game 1, it's like it didn't matter because all they needed to do was win in game 2 and they're ahead of the game in the series. So like you said, unfortunately Chris Paul went down. I feel like he always gets hurt when there's his chance to beat someone good. It happened when he was on Houston with Harden against Golden State, and now it's happening now again.
Yeah, bro. I mean, he only missed 2 games in the regular season, and then the first game he gets injured. That's the story of his career.
I know, it's unfortunate. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, but there's always going to be that caveat that he's probably never going to, maybe next year, but it's going to be tough for them to beat the Lakers shorthanded without him. So, unfortunately, it looks like D-Book and Ayton are going to the first round exit. I don't know. I'm cheering for them still.
The Suns, I actually like them. Like, I've been a Devin Booker fan since he came into the league. So whoever wins that series, I'm cheering for them to get to the finals, but I'm more of a LeBron fan, so obviously I'm going to pull for the Lakers right now.
Mm-hmm. But like I said, I like LeBron. It just there's something about it. I don't know if he's even haterade. It's for LeBron. It's just like I'm just cheering for the Suns right now, and I'm mad that they're not full force. LeBron's getting a Mickey Mouse trip through the first round again.
Don't even start that.
All right, so Graham, what do you think the Suns-Lakers series is going to go to?
I think it'll end in 6. I think the Lakers will win the next 2. The Suns will defend their home court for Game 5, but then Game 6 goes back to LA. Capiche, it's done.
You think that's a wrap with their 7,000 fans and 15,000 cupboards?
Yeah, I mean it's weird. The Lakers are gonna have a lot of fans, but the Clippers, their home games don't have any fans, and the crowd is really weird. So.
Wait, yeah, I saw that. That wasn't just me, right? Like the Clippers had 0 fans.
Yeah, they just had a bunch of cutouts, but you'll see tonight the Lakers are gonna have tons of fans.
Why didn't the Clippers have? It's like the same stadium, same state guidelines. What's going on?
The Lakers run LA. I don't know what to tell you. No one's buying Clippers tickets. They don't have real fans.
Unbelievable. And we'll get into fans later, like we said in the prelude, but okay. So I'm gonna have to agree with you. I think maybe the Suns take it to 7. I think maybe they sneak 2 games. They're a good team. They don't have Chris Paul, but they're still a good team. Aiden's gotta play big. He's gotta play like he did in game 1 every single game. He played well last night too, the other night, but he's gotta play bigger than he's supposed to. But yeah, I'm going Lakers in 7. LeBron, AD. This is a nice tune-up round for them. So.
Yeah, and I think the winner of this series is probably taking the West. I'm not going to lie.
Okay. All right, well, okay, so after that game, 30 minutes later, after that tip-off, we have the Nuggets playing the Trailblazers. And the Nuggets don't have Jamal Murray, but they bounced back after losing game 1, and they are now tied. They defended home court somewhat by splitting 1-1, but they might still be in command of the series. Graham, what are your thoughts of this series?
I think this is a really good series. I think the Nuggets are going to live and die by Michael Porter. He had a good game. He shot like 50% in game one, but he was 1 for 10 from three. If he makes his normal like 42% that he shoots from, the Nuggets win that game. He was very efficient in the second game. They won that game. Because you know what Jokic is going to give you. I think the Blazers also know that. They're like, we can't stop him. We just got to stop everyone else. So I think Michael Porter Jr. is the difference in the series. I trust him more than I can trust Dame and his cast. So I think the Nuggets will come out on top of this, but it's pretty even match with Jamal Murray out. It just kind of comes down to who top two players can carry their team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going to go the other way here. I'm going to think that without Jamal Murray, and yeah, you're right. I think if Michael Porter snaps, I think they're going to win the series, but I think that the Nuggets might be a little bit too dependent on Jamal Murray's like numbers typically. So I think that it's especially big that Portland got one in Denver, and I have a prediction that the Trailblazers are going to win these next two games, be up 3-1, and I think it's going to go to 7. But I think Dame's going to win Game 7.
Hey, those Nuggets know about coming back 3-1.
That's what I'm saying. People are going to be like, it's 3-1. The Nuggets got them right where they want them. They're going to win they're going to win the next two, make it 3-3. And Dame's going to be like...
He's going to have another playoff moment?
Yeah, he's going to have another playoff moment, man. And then Dame's going to advance. He's going to be... I feel like Dame's always in the second round of the playoffs. Doesn't matter what seed they get.
I think that's his standard, second round. I think that's his floor. And then the conference finals is his ceiling. They just got that little area right there. That's where they sit at every year.
Yes, but Dame Dolla's going for it. That's all I'm saying. I think they're going to win the series in 7. So I got two 7-game series here so far.
But also staying in that series, I want to talk about how the Denver fans just booed Melo. Like, Melo didn't rejuvenate that franchise when he was there on the Nuggets. Like, that was disrespectful. Maybe they're all new fans and they didn't realize what Melo did, but I didn't like that at all.
I peeped that. It's like, man, come on. That's like booing Michael Jordan when he went back to Chicago.
That's what I'm saying. That franchise was trash before he got there. He came in there, carried them on his back, was a superstar straight out of college. Then he leaves and they're back to trash. He's the only relevancy they've had since they've gotten Jokic, so I didn't like that they booed him.
I guess there's a trash franchise. That's what we're calling them.
Yeah, that's what we are calling them.
But yeah, I thought it was interesting, though, how in Game 1, Jokic had 34, and people were like, that's a bad game because he only had 1 assist. But, like, I think, like you were saying, the Trailblazers know his strengths, and they know they're going to let him get his numbers, but they had to get everyone else to keep him from really playing his full game of getting those assists. But he's been snapping, so it's going to come down to if Dame Dolla has it.
Yeah, that's definitely facts. I think it's going to be a 7-game series as well. I don't know if it'll be a 3-1 comeback on the brink of a comeback, but I think it'll go the distance. It's a really even series.
Especially with Jamal. Do you think if they had Jamal, they'd run them out of the building?
If they had Jamal Murray, I would put money on them winning the West, the entire West. That's how good they were with Jamal Murray.
He's a good player too, and he's different in the playoffs. He was snapping in the bubble and the year before that. In the playoffs.
Yeah, he knows how to play in the playoffs. He's a bucket, and I mean, like, if you have a great perimeter scorer and a great down low scorer and facilitator in Jokic, that's really hard to handle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're definitely what the 21st century basketball is supposed to be. Have a big guy who's athletic and can dish it out, and then someone who can close in the backcourt that can shoot too.
Yeah, so that injury is really unfortunate, but I think next year, now that Michael Porter Jr. had learned how to step into that role, I think they're going to be really scary. That's a big 3. People might not want to say it, but that's a big 3 next year.
We heard it here first. That's a big 3 next year. Watch out, Denver. Watch out, people. Denver's about to run the West.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's get these two. Actually, okay, so the next 2 series that I'm going to bring up, they're both of our favorite teams, and they're probably the 2 least competitive series in the playoffs this year. So we got the Nets and the Celtics. The Nets just look better. The Celtics are also hurt and crippled, and it's just not their year. They're going to lose in 4, I believe. Maybe 5. Maybe they'll steal 1 in the TD. But not looking promising. Graham, you have anything you want to say about the Sixers-Wizards series where it's 2-0 right now in favor of the Sixers? You're going back to D.C.
Yeah, so, I mean, the Sixers are the 1 seed. They did what they were supposed to do, just hold home court. So, I'm going to be honest, I don't think they look special. The Wizards are very bad. If anyone watched Game 2, it was just Bradley Beal out there. Then our second leading scorer had, 11 points, and then everyone else was in single digits. Beal was getting no help, so the Sixers should be winning, and they're taking care of business, so props to them. But I mean, Westbrook, he like rolled his ankle, and then as he was walking out, the fan debacle happened. We'll get into that. But yeah, so I don't know if he's gonna be healthy. Not that he was a plus. He was playing horrible, so it's not that big of a deal. So I don't really have any hope. I'm just trying trying to not get swept at this point.
Hey, get a win in DC.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I want.
Make it 2-1. Make it seem close, but when it's really not.
Hey, 2018 playoffs, the Wizards were the 8th seed. They were down 2-0 to the Raptors. They won the next two at home, made it 2-2. That was courtesy of John Wall going off. I don't know if we have that right now in Westbrook, but we've been in this position before.
And I think you tweeted the other day, it was like people were trying to exile John Wall in the playoffs for going 28-11.
Yeah, all he does is elevate in the playoffs every single time, and he's a great playoff performer. And the Wizards decided to get rid of him for God knows what reason, for a player who his level lowers in the playoffs. So I'm really happy with the move. Yeah.
Well, sorry, Graham.
Look at that. That's a game-winning shot that he made over right there. I gotta wake up to every morning and just daily grievance right there.
Reminisce on the good times.
Every single day.
Well, you'll be home now, so you can see it every day.
Yep.
All right. Bucks Heat. That's another series that's probably out. I thought the Heat were going to be a formidable match, but it looks like they're not the same team they were last year. They're playing right now. I think the Bucks are going to win in 4 or 5. What do you think? The Bucks aren't that. I don't think the Bucks are that good. I think it's a two-horse race in the East, but I think the Bucks are going to handle the Heat.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler sucks right now. Bam Adebayo sucks right now. Tyler Hero was a bubble fraud, apparently. They just got nothing going on for them, and the Bucks aren't even playing amazing. Like, Giannis is not even playing efficiently. Like, he's like shooting like 11 for 30, and he's still like they're just dominating. But he have no hope. Like, if Giannis was playing at an MVP level, it'd be a 30-point game every single time.
Well, sorry, Heat. Tyler Hero. I don't know if he should have had a song made about him. It was premature.
Hey man, they were just trying to get that white connection. Shout out Jack Harlow. But
they
yeah,
tried. I think
he tricked y'all.
Jack Harlow's dating Addison right now. I guess that's a plus.
Yeah, that was a little rumor going around.
You hear that? You hear that? That she cheated on Bryce Hall with him.
I think they weren't together, but if Jack Harlow did pull that off, wreck that relationship, that's a W. Props to him.
That is a W.
Props to him.
Facts. We don't like other YouTubers.
Yeah, man, get out of here, fool.
This is our monopoly.
Huh?
This is our monopoly. We're
That's
gonna
what I'm
monopolize it.
It's our place.
What's Sway House anyway?
It's like their TikTok.
No.
house.
It was a rhetorical question.
It's a TikTok house.
Yeah. I know what it is. Like, I got you.
Good old side segment right there.
Yeah. So that was like our intermission to the NBA. Here's a shocker. Maybe it's not a shocker, but it's a shocker to me because I get that Luka Doncic is probably like a top 5 player in the game. He's a beast. He might be playing like the best guy in the NBA right now. He might be playing like the best guy in the NBA right now. But they're up 2-0. They beat the Clippers twice in LA with Paul George and Kawhi healthy. What's going on, Graham?
I don't really know. Like, the Clippers, like, they have their whole starting lineup is like amazing at defense, and yet they can't stop Tim Hardaway, Luka. Luka has 8 career playoff games, and they're all against the Clippers, and he's been dogging them every single matchup. He averaged like 33, 9, and 9 against the Clippers last year and this year. So he just owns them at this point. I think this is what the Clippers deserve. They tanked to avoid LeBron, only to run into Luka, and he's not having any of that. I didn't think they were going to take 2. I thought the Mavericks were going to win, but I didn't think they would take 2 of the games from home court right away. I don't know.
You know they were going to win the series?
Yeah, I thought the Mavericks were going to win the series.
Okay.
I'm not a believer in the Clippers ever. I think Kawhi is... He's like... I don't know. I think he's overrated in like what he does, but he's still a great player. I mean, he dropped 40. It's just like... I don't think he has what it takes to carry a team just because he's scoring a defense. He's not rebounding and facilitating, which I feel like you need to be well-rounded to carry a team.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about Paul George's like part of in this failure of the LA Clippers so far in these 2 years?
I can't. Well, he's hooping, like he's doing good, but he's not shooting well from three. He's like other than that, he's playing good. But yeah, I just don't think he's second fiddle at this point in the NBA. I think he's maybe a third option, unless because he's not on the level of Anthony Davis as a second option, but he's on the level of Kyrie Irving as a third option in Brooklyn. So maybe if the Clippers had one more like second option, then he would be perfect. But for right now, I don't think he can carry enough to get a team to the finals.
Mm-hmm. Well, in my opinion, and basketball is not my biggest thing where like I know what the guy's skills and strengths are, but it kind of seems like you need two stars that are different. And it kind of seems like Kawhi and Paul George, although they get different numbers, they're kind of like the same type of player where they can both shoot pretty well. They can they're not different like LeBron and AD are. They're not different like KD and Kyrie are. They're kind of like similar height, similar build, and they just shoot. They're good scorers, but they're not, and they're good defenders, but they're too much of the same.
No,
what do you think about
you're
that?
actually like spot on with that. Like they're both just like two-way perimeter, not forwards. They don't have a dominant center or a guard. They have Patrick Beverley out there. He's not going to do anything but pick up 6 fouls every game. Like you're not going to get it done with him. And then you got like Serge Ibaka. I mean, he's on the decline, man. Come on, he's a good defender still, but he's not going to get it done. So yeah, you're right about that. They definitely like the two superstars. It kind of sucks that they do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. So like, if you were the GM right now, you would next year you'd be like, all right, we got to get a star point guard or a star center to help these two guys out because they're too similar in its own.
Here's what I'll do if I was the Clippers. First, you got to focus on re-signing Kawhi because that man could leave this offseason. You got to lock him down because Paul George is already there until like 2025, I think. So you got him, but you got to re-sign Kawhi. You got to make sure that he wants to stay in LA, and then you got to look for either someone to get bought out, like John Wall can get bought out because the Rockets are rebuilding, so they probably don't want a veteran point guard who wants to win now. So if he gets bought out, I think the Clippers would be a nice spot for him. But you definitely need a veteran like player, either point guard or big, that can get the job done. So I think John Wall is a good option for that, and I'm probably biased because I want to be in a good situation, but I think it works out if he's bought out.
That's interesting. And what big would you recommend if John Wall went somewhere else over stay in Houston?
You probably don't need a crazy big. Rashawn Holmes on the Kings is really good, but he doesn't really get attention on the Kings. But he's a good player. He's a solid defender. He's athletic. He's active. I think he would be a really good target. He's a free agent this offseason, so I think Rashawn Holmes would fit on the Clippers.
All right, Rashawn Holmes, take a trip down to LA.
He's kind of like Montrezl Harrell, but I say he's a little better. They had Montrezl Harrell last year, so they're definitely lacking in that department.
So do you think if they had Montrezl Harrell right now, they'd be in a better situation?
I'd say so, just because whenever you watch Montrezl Harrell, he's getting DNPs for the Lakers. Like, he's not even playing. But when you watch him, his energy is so high, and you really need that in the playoffs. Like, people feed off that. So, yeah, I think they actually would be in a better spot. He got into a little tango with Luka last year, calling him female dog, donkey, white boy. So they had a little beef. So I don't know. Maybe it would have spiced it up, gotten Luka's head a little bit if he was still there.
All right, and also, like you said about Montrezl Harrell bringing that energy. Also, I don't know either of these two guys in Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, but it also seems like neither of them really bring that energy and camaraderie into a team. They're pedestrian when it comes to energy. Like, they're great players, but they're not really the energetic type that will amp up the team.
You can definitely say that about Kawhi. He's gonna do his job, but he's not gonna I feel like he's not gonna rally a team together. Like, he's just quiet. And Paul George, I think he has that, but I don't know. I haven't seen it since maybe the beginning of OKC. You didn't see it in the playoffs when he was on the Thunder, and the last time you really saw it was when he was on the Pacers, carrying them to the Eastern Conference Finals. Since then, he's kind of just been doing his thing, getting hype here and there, but yeah, not rallying a team together.
So what do you think is going to happen the rest of the series? Right now, the Mavs are up 2-0. You thought the Mavs were going to win the series, but now they are up 2-0. What do you think is going to happen?
I think if they take Game 3, it's going to be a sweep. The Clippers are just going to be demoralized. They seem like a team that can just check out at any moment. So I think if the Mavericks take Game 3, which I think they will, it's just going to be a sweep. Forget about the Clippers.
Also, I have another question. Maybe Ty Lue just isn't the guy as a coach.
Well, he's definitely getting out-coached by Rick Carlisle. So you might be right.
He just doesn't seem like that knowledgeable of a dude, to be honest with you. Like I honestly don't know how his brain ticks or anything like that, but he really only found success. He's been moving around, I feel like, and obviously you want to ring with LeBron, but you don't really need to have a coach when you have LeBron James on your team because he's the coach.
I think being a former NBA player and being on that Cavs team helped his credentials a lot. But yeah, I don't think he's great at like scheming up plays or running set plays. Like I think it's just kind of Kawhi and Paul George trying to carry this team forward.
He's definitely like a player's coach though, because he played, so he definitely knows what players.
Oh yeah, 100%. He's definitely more players coach, just kind of relating to them, teaching them like little things. But yeah, it's like mentally, like Rick Carlisle is destroying him.
Mm-hmm. Did Rick Carlisle ever play in the league?
Man, he's kind of old, so I don't know. I don't think he did, but he probably has college basketball background. Most coaches have a basketball background to some extent.
Yeah, they play. It's got Brad Stevens. He's a weirdo.
Yeah, that dude's just a nerd.
Yeah, but he was just a good college coach and got the other. Do you think he's on the hot seat, Brad Stevens?
People were saying he was, but
I don't think he is.
Obviously, they underperformed to their standards, but they had COVID issues. They had some injury issues. Like, it wasn't like a perfect season for them. And then you go into the playoffs losing your all-star, and Jaylen Brown is a good player. Like, it just wasn't a great situation. I don't think he should be on the hot seat. He's a great coach, and you see what he can do. He went to 7 games with LeBron James with Jason Tatum as a rookie. Like, he knows what he's doing.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Every coach can have a bad year. It's okay.
Yeah, especially this year. There's a lot of circumstances.
Yeah, it's a mulligan, right? Yeah, he'll bounce back. I know he will. I don't think Danny Ainge is that stupid. Danny Ainge is a great GM. I don't think he's gonna make a bad move.
Yeah, he won't. You guys are good.
Okay, so we covered Suns, Lakers, we covered Mavs, Clippers, we covered Bucks, Heat, Celtics, Knicks. Yup. So we got two very interesting series. Jazz, Grizzlies. Obviously, the Grizzlies stole Game 1 in Salt Lake City, but Donovan Mitchell did not play. Donovan Mitchell came back for Game 2, and despite Ja Morant dropping 47 on their heads, the Jazz won. Grant, what do you think?
Well, with Donovan Mitchell, the Jazz aren't losing. If Donovan Mitchell was out this series, the Grizzlies, I think they have the advantage just because Ja Morant and Dylan Brooks are playing out of their minds right now. And then Valanciunas and Jaren Jackson are a big presence down low. Even it's a lot for just Gobert to contain. But Donovan Mitchell, he's been different all year this year. He gets a lot of slander, I guess, because people always compare him to like the best shooting guards in the league. But he holds his own every time. So I think now that he's returned, he looked just fine. He didn't really lose a step in the last game. So I think the Jazz might run away with this, but the Grizzlies I think they're gonna be competitive every game.
Ja's a good player. Ja's a very good player. People are saying that he might have maybe been a better pick at 1 than Zion. I still don't think so. Zion's put up numbers since he's been in the league, since he's been healthy. But they're both really amazing. But I don't have much to say about the series. All I know is if you say the Jazz are going to win, I think the Jazz are going to win. I heard some people say the Jazz are going to make it out of the West. So,
I don't know if I can see that. Donovan Mitchell would have to really carry a big load, but I don't know. I don't think they're that strong of a 1 seed.
Okay. They're like the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah, with a little more star power. But yeah, that's like a solid comparison.
Like the 2015 Atlanta Hawks, or whatever year they were.
When they had 5 All-Stars. Yeah, get out of here with that.
All right, last series, probably going to be the most entertaining series. I think this is definitely going to go to 7 because it just has that feel. The Knicks and Hawks, Trae Young's been going back and forth with the fans at Madison Square Garden the past two nights. It's 1-1 right now. Knicks got Game 2, going back to Atlanta for Game 3 and 4. Graham, what's your outlook on this series? What do you think about Trae Young bossing up in New York?
Yeah, well, it sucks that the Knicks lost Game 1. They lost home court, which they were in a dogfight for all year to get home court advantage, and Trae Young just took it from him with the floater to ice the game in Game 1. So that's rough for them. But Julius Randle wasn't playing good until the second half of Game 2. Everything before that, he was playing bad. And you saw what happens when he just starts scoring and starts being efficient. The Knicks are the better team probably when Julius Randle is playing well. So I think it's going to come down to Julius Randle. Trae Young has embraced the hate, though. He has done everything perfectly. He has embraced all the hate after the game. After Game 2 when they lost, he would just see you in the A. See you in the A. He's ready to come back to Atlanta. I don't know. I feel like he just gained more confidence after this. I feel like he's the type of player. It seems like that the hate fuels him. He's turning into an NBA villain. People are kind of making that storyline. So it's gonna be tough to call this series. I'm gonna be honest, but I want the Knicks to win, so I'm gonna say the Knicks just because Julius Randle seemed to have figured it out in game 2.
It seems like the NBA playoffs is very competitive in the first round this year, more competitive than it usually is. And I think that's because some really good teams had bad seasons, like the Lakers and like the Warriors. Even like they made it interesting, but like it's just competitive. Like the NBA is in a really good place right now. And I also think what's interesting about this Knicks-Hawks series is a lot of these guys haven't been in the playoffs before, so you're really figuring out who are still boys and who are men. Like Julius Randle, like he was looking like a boy the first game and a half, but he started to figure it out a little bit. He's like, all right, I gotta go. So I think he gained confidence. Like you said, Trae Young has a lot of confidence right now. I'm gonna take the Knicks just because I think it's fun when the New York Knicks are in the playoffs.
Yes, sir. I mean, I'm hoping so, and because I think I told you earlier, but I think the Knicks are the only team that could like take out the Sixers if it was between right now the Wizards and then the next round Knicks Hawks. I think the Knicks are the team that can do it.
Knicks Nets. Eastern Conference Finals.
If it was Knicks Nets, I'm telling you.
No, like that'd just be interesting. You know, like.
No, but I'm telling you, there would not be one Nets fan in New York.
Okay. I can't wait to see it. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we got the Suns and Lakers at 10. Great game. Hopefully, Devin Booker puts up 60. And then Nuggets Trailblazers. It'll be fun. So we had a little technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen. You know, the COVID era. We're on the downward swing of things. I think COVID's almost over. It should be over by the fall. We're rocking good. Keep the faith, ladies and gentlemen. But so as we talked about the NBA, we talked about all 8 series. Very competitive for the most part. But last night we had 2 altercations with fans and players. Russell Westbrook got injured during the Wizards 76ers game. He was walking back to their locker room, and a fan spilled a bag of popcorn on him. Graham, I know you're not a fan of the Westbrook trade, but you've been supporting him all year. How do you feel about this instance?
Man, it's in Philly. What are you going to expect? Philly fans are absolutely horrendous. They don't understand any aspect of sports. They just like to yell. So I'm not surprised that it was in Philly. I'm not surprised that it happened, to be honest, once it did happen. But it's disrespectful. I mean, I wish they let Russ just go into the stands and start laying it out on him. Because really, like, if you're injured, you're walking back to the tunnel, and you get a bag of popcorn thrown on you. Like, that's just disrespectful. And they're putting on a show for you. Like, they're entertaining you, and then you just disrespect them. It's ridiculous. Like, obviously these guys are held to a higher standard. Like, they're making millions of dollars, but they're still humans. Like, you can't just throw a bag of popcorn at someone. So I think it's ridiculous. I think he got banned indefinitely, and he was a season ticket holder too. Like, you should know. Like,
he should have known better.
It's I don't know, it's ridiculous, but I'm not surprised coming from Philly, and especially because Westbrook has had problems in Phillies before back when he was on the Thunder. So I don't know. It's ridiculous though.
Yeah, Philly stinks. Even the city.
100%, bro. We ain't rocking with that.
And people ask why we're not Phillies fans, even though we're 15 minutes away.
Man, Philly fans, they reek.
Disgusting. All right, well, when you Philly fans hear this, just know you're all clowns. And
God.
That one fan was representative of your whole fan base.
Exactly, he was. That's all their fans.
So this other one. So honestly, I'm not a fan of the popcorn toss, but it was definitely not as bad as the spitting one that we had with Trae Young, just because, like, spitting's just straight disrespectful.
Especially during COVID, it's like 10 times worse.
Yeah, like, who thinks that? Like, I kind of get I don't get the guy's thought process with the popcorn, but for Philly, we can understand why a Philly fan would do that, right? I guess. Like, it makes sense. But this man in New York spit at Trae Young. He had like $1,000 seats, so he was like second row. Like, what are you doing?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I guess it's like New Yorkers, like they're disrespectful. They'll spit on you.
Yeah.
Like, I guess he lived that into existence, but it's just disgusting. Like, why are you spitting on another grown man? Like, just because you don't like him for a basketball series? Like, it's basketball. Calm down, bud.
Yeah, people say it was racially motivated because that guy was a white dude and Trae Young's obviously a black dude. But I don't think that's the
Okay,
case. I just
I wouldn't take it that far. I think he was just hates Trae Young as all of New York does right
yeah,
now.
I heard that on ESPN. I was like, I don't think so. I just think that guy was being a jerk, and he got what he got what he had coming. He's suspended indefinitely from Madison. That's a tough place. Suspended indefinitely from Madison Square Garden. That's a big blow. Wells Fargo Center. No one wants to go there anyway. I guess I got a ticket season
But the
holder,
Garden,
but
that's the greatest place in basketball.
that's the greatest place for a lot of things. Like, they have great shows there. They have
Exactly.
great NCAA tournaments there. They have a lot of good stuff that guy's not going to be participating at. And he
Yeah.
probably has the bread to do it because he paid $1,000 to spit on Trae Young's face.
That's what I'm saying. He just, I don't know. He definitely wasn't thinking in the heat of the moment, but just how does it even come to your mind? Like, oh, I'm gonna spit on this NBA player. If I was that close to an NBA player, I'd be in awe, like utter shock. Like, just I don't even care if I hate them. I'll just respect. It's like it's an NBA player. Like, just ridiculous.
Exactly. Millennials, man. That guy was definitely a millennial.
Had to be just hating on everything.
Did you see that guy? He was like a classic New Yorker. Dark hair, thick eyebrows. Spit on Trae Young. Unbelievable.
Oh, dude, you walk around, you see 40 of them.
Disgusting. Disheartening. Okay. Well, so Graham, I was going to ask you this question. Obviously, we know that if you were to do this, to spill popcorn on an NBA player, you get in trouble. But let's have fun because we know neither of us are going to do it. If you were to spill popcorn on one player in the NBA, who would you do it on?
Okay, so it's between Giannis and Embiid. I really don't like either of those players for how they play the game. But I'm going to go with Giannis just because I have a brewing hate for that man just because he is fake humble. He's not talented at the game. I don't care what anyone says. He's not a superstar. He's just not. I dunk on Giannis' head from the fourth row. Just boom, popcorn on his dome.
I like to hear that.
Who would you? You got any people you hate in the NBA or no? You don't follow it that
I don't really
much?
hate anyone. I don't really hate anyone in the NBA. But if we're taking this to the ball field, I'd go in the Sunday Night Baseball into the press box and spill a bag of popcorn on Alex Rodriguez.
Oh, that's an
And
A-Rod.
I know he just got broken up with J-Lo, so he's already down bad. But I want to make him down horrendous.
Yes, sir.
I want to spill a bag of popcorn on him, live call. I want Matt Vasgersian to be like, Mamba Taria!
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There was some passion in that right there.
Yeah, I mean, A-Rod, he's not even that bad of a guy, but he took steroids, so yeah, he's gonna have it coming.
Well, not divorce, well, breakup, whatever. That's what he had coming.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for him, to be honest. That sucks, but whatever. Both of them are rich. I don't think either of them are gonna give up anything really. So
Yeah, they coolin'.
Yeah, they cool. All right, last segment that we're gonna have today, Graham, is we're gonna head to the NFL, where we have two guys. As we talked about in the prior episode, Aaron Rodgers continues to kind of play a dangerous game with the Green Bay Packers where, he's sending – actually, I have another thing I want to talk about, but we'll talk about that after Julio and Aaron Rodgers. So, Aaron Rodgers is in Hawaii right now partying with his wife, and while the Packers started OTAs, and obviously a veteran quarterback doesn't have to be there, but he's not coming, and he still wants to be traded. So, I guess – I don't like it. He should stay in Green Bay. Graham, just quick thoughts on that, him continuing to hold this out.
Yeah, he clearly doesn't care about anything that's going on. I think that man's just set for life, and he's just going to cruise through life wherever he does. I don't think he cares anymore. I think he's probably going to sit out. I don't even think he cares enough to play for the Packers if he doesn't get moved, so I don't know.
What's the one destination you would want to see Aaron Rodgers at if it's not Green Bay? If money wasn't a thing.
Well, obviously, I would say the Panthers because I don't know. I don't trust Sam Darnold, but like realistically, because why would that happen? That's tough. I want to keep him in the NFC just so like we can have like a nice Rodgers like Brady duel, and then like a real one, not some some little one. And then the winner of that gets to go against Mahomes. So the football team.
That's what I was saying.
The football team.
Are you sick? The football team has all they need. They just need Aaron Rodgers.
Dude, they would go to the chip, or they would have a good battle with the Bucks for the chip with that one.
They'd be a good team.
They would.
So Aaron Rodgers, done talked about. Julio Jones. Okay, I think Shannon Sharp broke First Amendment rights or something with.
He did not tell him that man was on live television.
He just called this man in the middle of whatever they're undisputed with Skip Bayless, and he's just like, "Yo, Julio, you going somewhere?" And he's like, "I'm out of there." So
he did not know he was on TV.
Yeah, he said, and then they started talking about the Cowboys. He's like, "Oh yeah, I want to win." He's like, "I'm not going there." So Julio Shannon gave Julio the opportunity to spill the bag, and he did. Julio wants to out, as we knew this for months, but this has seemed to speed up the process as ESPN reported that the Falcons do have offers of a first-round pick, and also that Tennessee is unlikely to be that team that he's going to go to. So I'm saying he's going to the Patriots.
Do they have they can make that work?
I think we have to restructure some things, but I think some players on the Patriots right now would be like, heck yeah, if we could get Julio Jones.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the Patriots, that'd be an automatic upgrade. I mean, you guys would be scary. I'm not gonna lie. If you guys got Julio, you guys would be scary.
You put us up with the Chiefs and Ravens and Bills and Browns if we get Julio Jones.
Because your defense can already handle business. Your team would basically rise and fall off Cam Newton and how he does. And if you had Julio.
Well, if Cam doesn't do it, just put Mac in. He had 41 touchdowns, 4 interceptions in college.
He is not the answer, Will.
Mac is the answer.
He is not the answer.
I'm biased, but Mac's the answer.
Cam Newton's their guy. There's no way Mac Jones does anything.
Either way, if we have Julio Jones, Nelson Aguilar, Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, and Damian Harris out of the backfield, that's scary on offense.
Oh, yeah, that's good tons of weapons, 100%.
That's a good team, so I'm looking forward to it. I mean, hopefully Julio Jones wants to come to us because he said he would not mind playing with Cam Newton. So we like to hear these things.
Yeah.
And we're not even going to talk about any other team we might go to because.
I mean, I said the Titans earlier, but I didn't know that they were unlikely when you just said that. So the only other team that comes to the top of my head is the Ravens. They really need a receiver, and that would help that team a lot.
We're not going to discuss that. That's not what we're talking about.
I'm just saying the Ravens are a nice fit as well.
Yeah, they might be, but
I think they're a better fit, to be honest.
They just got Rashad Bateman in the draft. They don't need Julio Jones, right?
Well, that's not Julio Jones. That's Rashad Bateman. As far as I'm concerned, wide receiver is a huge need for them. Not just a little need where Bateman can fill the holes.
As far as I'm concerned, Julio Jones should be a need for every team, but
he's going to the Ravens. Will, I'm sorry, and Lamar Jackson's going to prove you wrong.
Honestly, he might go to the Bucks. Why not?
No, he's going to Lamar Jackson. He's going to your boy.
I guess we'll see, man. If Lamar Jackson can't get it done with Julio Jones, that's my case closed right there.
You're gonna eat off that.
I'm good. Oh yeah, Henry Ackroyd. Oh, watch out. Alright, well, so yeah, Julio Jones going to Pats, maybe the Ravens, maybe the Bucks. I mean, the Bucks just signed AB, his physical with pass, so the Bucks are booming again. So what I wanted to end off with was, Graham and I haven't really talked about golf per se on this, but Bryson DeChambeau, Brooks Koepka, they had some issues last weekend. They got beef. And then it was announced that Brooks Koepka, Aaron Rodgers, Phil Mickelson, and Tom Brady are going to be doing a match part 2, July 6th. And Tom Brady took to the memes, Bryson took to the memes, Aaron took to the memes. Even Brooks Koepka said, "Sorry, bro," at Aaron Rodgers because he has to play 18 holes of golf with Bryson DeChambeau. So, Graham, what do you think? First off, what's that beef about? You know anything about it? Because I just know they're beefing. And then, what do you think about the match? Part 2.
So the beef about, I think they were I think one of them said the other plays too slow, he ruins the pace of the game, and then the other one they settled that, and then later they were he dresses weird or something, and then they just don't like each other at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's great. It brought a lot of eyes to golf. Well, I mean, Phil Mickelson winning the PGA Championship at 50 helped, but that beef got a lot of stir from non-golf fans. And like even on Twitter, I saw like Dave Portnoy from like Barstool like getting in on it. So I don't know. I think it's creating some buzz around it. I like Brooks. I don't know how to say his last name, but I'm rooting for him.
All right. Well, I think so. DeChambeau's the guy who goes a little slow because he's a scientist apparently.
Yeah, Brooks is
really
on him about that.
Yeah, and then Brooks Koepka is like the jerk. Like his name's Brooks, so that's all we need to know about that. But so yeah, and then the match, Tom Brady and Phil Mickelson team back up together. I'm excited. Anything Tom Brady's doing, I'm watching. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
you know what I'll be doing.
The old head's about to go crazy.
You know what? Yeah, and Tom Brady said, 2 champions versus a scientist and a Jeopardy host.
He's coming for that heat.
Tom Brady's probably the best social media guy that we have to right now. We should appreciate it, just like we appreciate.
That's a little very biased. I would never say that ever.
Just like we should appreciate D Rose going for 26 last game in the Madison Square Garden.
First of all, going backtrack, I love D Rose. Yeah, shout out D Rose. But Kevin Durant is head and shoulders above everyone as an athlete on social media.
Okay, but Tom Brady does it clean, dude. Like
that's why it's not as fun.
Okay, but Kevin Durant went into Michael Rappaport losers DMs and started like sending like death threats to him.
Dude, that's because Rappaport is a clown, dude. That dude is hated by everyone.
Yeah, Rappaport is a clown. I can't believe people were ever on his side for that, but whatever.
It was just a bunch of racists that were on his side.
Yeah. Katie was fine.
He ain't gonna get canceled.
I mean, it was in your DMs.
That's what he's the one that exposed messages, like.
Exactly. Like, come on.
Clown
Don't
behavior.
That. Real clown behavior. So the match, that's good. So anything else you want to talk about? I mean, big games tonight. Tip off in 58 minutes.
58 minutes, yes, sir.
I'm looking forward to it.
I don't know. I think we covered it all for like headliners. The French Open starts soon for tennis. I might mention 1 or 2 things about that in the future, but no, that's all I got, to be honest.
Yeah, and I'll give a full disclosure. E-Town Baseball, we lost to Scranton in the championship.
Oh, I did see like Mr. Query or Matt Query. They were posting a little bit.
Yeah, it took us down. Hey, shout out to Matt Query, man. Got in game 2, started for them, and they won that game. He played well.
Yeah,
shout out to them.
Putting on for Naaman's Little League.
Yeah, we won the first game 13-7. They won the second game 4-0. They won the third game 6-3.
Dang, that's a competitive series, though. You know.
It was a very competitive series. You know, the better team at that moment won probably, but both teams are very good. I think it's gonna be a good 3 years.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's all I'll say. But all I'll say is good luck to Scranton in Minnesota right now because their first game's tomorrow in Minnesota.
Ooh, mini. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
We done?
Yeah. I mean, I just want to say, Graham, send us out.
All right, man. We're back. We had a 2-week break. A little busy. You know, college students. But we're back.
Students before podcasting.
That's what I'm saying. We had to get it done in the books, but we're back. It's summer. Should have a lot more time. Should switch up the content maybe a little more debate styles, you know, not just more recaps, you know, going head to head. So we'll see how that goes. Appreciate it, y'all.